Yo, what's up guys? So welcome back for another Dueling Network video. This time featuring Evilswarms, or Verz as they are called in the OCG. They are doing pretty decent in the OCG in a deck called Verz Rabbit, or yeah, Verz Lakia. The deck that I'm playing in this video is not a Verz Rabbit deck, although it has some similarities. Yeah, also DN recently released a new support card for Evilswarms called Cercyon, which helps the deck tremendously, as you will see in the games. Yeah, alright, let's see some duels. My first opponent here is playing Gem Knights. I believe he gets to start. Yeah, I lose the rock, paper, scissors game. I have a pretty strong opening hand already. He's just going to set one back row. At that moment I didn't know what deck he was playing. But yeah, I think it's pretty much yeah, obviously that I'm going to Rabbit and hope it doesn't have the Veiler. It does not, so immediately special summon both Heliotropes. Exceed for Ophion, pretty much the one of the boss monsters of the deck. So activate Ophion's effect, detach and search out my Pandemic Infection spell card, which is pretty much a Forbidden Lens for the Archetype. Attack into his open field, he's not able to drop Gorse or Tragodia, since Ophion does have a material, and then level 5 or higher monsters cannot be special summoned. He has a rabbit of his own, so I'm expecting a Dino Rabbit deck, but he's playing Gem Knights. Here he tries to fusion summon one of his Gem Knight fusions, but he probably didn't read Ophion that well, because he's not allowed to. His out here was he had to exceed for My Stroke and then attack over Ophion, but he exceeded for Utopia. And it does not have any back row, so I'm free to normal summon Castor, use his extra normal summon to normal summon a Heliotrope, exceed for Bahamut, also a pretty much the boss monster of the deck. I can discard an Evilswarm monster to take control of my opponent's monster for the whole duel. So attack into his open field, and again, no Gorse, he's not able to drop Gorse if he does have it. And that was a game. So a really short game. Here is another duel I had a few days ago. My opponent is playing Heretics. I get to start this time. Again, a really solid opening hand. Already able to special summon that Ophion to the field. Activates effect to search out my Pandemic Infection spell card. Set both to the field. Again, at the moment didn't know what deck he was playing. He normal summons Card and he's not going to set any back row, so that tells me that he's probably playing Heretics, which he does, because he discards his normal to the graveyard. And since I play Ophion, I have Ophion, level 5 or higher monsters cannot be special summoned, so Heretics, this should be an instant win against Heretics. So activate Ophion's effect to search out Infestation Infection, basically trap you will see in a moment. Then that search makes Cercyon live, so normal summon the Cercyon, banish one of my Evilswarm monsters in my graveyard and add back an Evilswarm monster to my hand from my graveyard, and that lets me use an extra normal summon. So normal summon my other Evilswarm monster and exceed for a second Ophion. Activate that Ophion's effect to search out another Pandemic Infection spell card. Then attack with both Ophions into his open field. Again, he's not able to drop Gorse or Tragodia. Then in main phase 2, going to set that Infestation Infection. I do only play 3 normals, the 3 Heliotropes. So the Infestation Infection is a really nice card to put that normal back into my deck. He's going to Storm. Tough luck. Chain the Pandemic Infection, so both Ophions on the field are unaffected by spells and traps in case he has Dark Hole. And also chain the Infestation Infection to put back my the normal monster in my hand back into my deck to search out the Cercyon. He's just going to set a few cards. Again, Ophion putting in some work. So my turn again. Check my graveyard. Only have one Evilswarm monster in my graveyard. So a normal summon Cercyon and see what he has set. He does have Torrential, but obviously I'm going to chain that Pandemic Infection spell card, so every Evilswarm monster is unaffected by spells and traps. Activate Ophion, so that brings 2 Evilswarm monsters in my graveyard, and the search for another infestation, pandemic infection. And activate Ophion, activate Cercyon's effect again, uses extra normal summon and special summon a third Ophion to the field, and that seals the game again. So yeah, Ophion definitely putting in some work against decks like Chaos Dragon or Heretic, which yeah, basically play a lot of level 5 or higher monsters that needs to be special summoned. So again, a really short game. Here is another game. My opponent is playing Girgias. Yeah, I think a pretty standard Girgia deck. I think this was game 3 we had. It was 2-0 in my favor. He sets 4 back rows. I'm going to normal summon the Thunderbird and attack into his open field. Thunderbird is basically the wind-up rabbit of the deck. I can remove it from play to dodge a spell, trap, or monster effect, and then it returns with 1950 attack. So he MSTs both my back rows. I was expecting one MST, so I set the Rota and the Prison. Hopefully that he MSTs the Rota. But yeah, he had 2 MSTs. Not going to activate the infestation on my Castor. Want to keep that infestation for other plays. And here it top decks Arsenal. And I made a misplay a few turns ago with both his MSTs. I should have activated Thunderbird's effect on his second MST, so now Thunderbird would have had 1950 attack, so he wasn't able, he would have been able to attack over it. So I have to activate my infestation spell card so I can activate Evilswarm to banish it, but he's going to Solemn Judgment my infestation spell card. But yeah, it doesn't matter really it doesn't matter that much. Unless I top deck something to get rid of his Girgia armor, and I do, luckily, draw into the Dark Hole. I think that pretty much was the best draw I could have. Normal summon a Thunderbird again, attack into his open field. Here compulsories, obviously going to chain Thunderbird's effect, special summoned again. So he's going to normal summon Strategist now. He's going to activate its effect, so I'm expecting maybe Reborn. I'm not going to risk anything, just remove the Thunderbird. He attacks for 500. Not going to do anything. And finally I draw into another Evilswarm monster. Normal summon the Evilswarm monster. Not going to exceed just yet for Ophion, just in case he does have a Solemn Warning. And he was waiting for the exceed. So attack over his Strategist and attack with Evilswarm directly. And now I'm going to exceed for Ophion. Activates effect, so no bottomless or something like that. To search out the infestation pandemic infection spell card, set it just in case he has Dark Hole in his hand. Again, he's not able to special summon level 5 or higher monsters. Checking my graveyard, I do have 2 Dark Mons in my graveyard, so I want to make that Dark Arm Dragon live. Then activate Ophion's effect to search out another infestation spell card. And now, I can special summon level 5 or higher monsters, so I can special summon a Dark Armed to seal the deal. So now it's 3-0 in my favor. We had one last duel, and this was actually a really, really nice duel. So a perfect duel to end the game with, to end the video with. He says in the chat that he has pretty much the best opening hand Girgias can have. So I'm expecting a Starlight Road set, an MST and a Warning, and obviously the Girgia armor face down. So going to lure out the Solemn Warning. I probably should have waited on my Exceed summon for Ophion. So a minor mistake on his part. So set Warning, set the Infestation spell card, and indeed he's obviously going to flip summon his armor, going to Warning that. So here's my chance to take back some momentum in the game. Not going to use Rabbit just yet, just in case he does have another warning, and he does. So another warning on his part. He opened with double warning, and probably his last set was a Starlight Road, as you will see in a moment. He top decks into a Reborn. For his Girgia armor, again putting him in a really nice position. So both his warnings are gone. I have to take my chances, special summon the Mandragora, normal summon Thunderbird and Exceed for Ophion. Try to use its effect to search out an infestation spell or trap. He chains Fiendish Chain. I chain Pandemic Infestation, my Pandemic Infestation spell card, and he chains his effect Failure. Um, yeah, nothing I can do about that. So Ophion is still unaffected by spells or traps until the end phase. So attack over his armor. Nothing more I can do. He has another arsenal, so here is another Kirgia armor. His last set is probably a Starlight Road. Probably, yeah. Don't think it's a Solemn Judgment. He definitely would have activated that, um, yeah, on Ophion's summon. So I have to top deck something good like MST to get rid of the Fiendish Chain, so I can attack over his Gear armor, and then I top deck into another Infestation Pandemic Infection, so I activate it and try to activate Ophion's effect again, but he does have a second failure. So take my chances here, hope that he does not have a third failure or a Maxi. So normal summon Rabbit, and yeah, the Rabbit goes off, so that's really nice. Special summon both Heliotropes and Exceed. Yeah, I was thinking here for some time. If he does have a Starlight Road set in his back row, it was set since the beginning, so the chances are really high that it does, that it's a Starlight Road. So I go for Peperorative and use this effect on his face down Gear armor, and if it's a Starlight Road, I have the game here. So I attack over his armor with the Peperopative and attack with Ophion into his field, and indeed it was a Starlight Road. So a really amazing game. He pretty much had a busted opening hand. After Duel is said his opening hand was Starlight Road, double Warning, Armor, and double Veiler, which is pretty much the best opening hand Girigias can have. So yeah, really nice games. So yeah, here is the deck list. As you see, I'm only running 3 normals with double Rescue Rabbit. At first sight, this might seem a horrible choice, but from testing the deck, it actually performs really well. I have tested the deck without Rescue Rabbit, but then the deck was really slow, like exceeding, making power plays. Creating advantage was difficult, and then I decided to try out Rescue Rabbits and the Heliotropes as the normal monsters, and now the deck is a lot better than before. Yeah, also the deck runs a few cards to put back your normals back into your deck to make your rabbit live. So like if you open with 2 normals or you already used up your first rabbit, the most important card here is of course Daigusto Emerald, and second there's also the Infestation Infection trap card. I'll come back to that later. First of all, the Evilswarm monsters that I'm playing are currently the better ones that are released. Caster provides an extra normal summon when it's summoned to the field. It's also a warrior, so searchable with Rhoda. Next, there is Thunderbird. Basically, this deck's wind-up rabbit that can dodge spells, traps, or monster effects by banishing itself until the next stem I face. Then it returns with 300 extra attack. Then we have Evilswarm Mandragora. Simply said, it's basically a Cyber Dragon of the deck. If your opponent controls more monsters than you, you can special summon this card from your hand. So again, really a really good card to make an easy exceed. Last, there is Cercyon. When it's on the field, you can banish an Evilswarm monster from your graveyard, and then add another Evilswarm monster from your grave back to your hand. And then if you used Cercyon's effect like this, you can normal summon 1 extra Evilswarm monster. So Cercyon basically is a 1 card exceed if you have a few Evilswarm monsters in your graveyard. And again, Rescue Rabbit supports this of course really well. Something I forgot to say earlier is that I see a lot of builds, Evilswarm builds, playing other Evilswarms, but the ones you see here are pretty much the ones you want to play. Although there's one Evilswarm monster called Salamandra, which is also a dinosaur, so if you're playing a Verz Lagia or a Verz Rabbit deck with Sabersaurus, Salamandra is definitely a card you want to test out. Last, quickly I want to talk about their boss exceeds, and basically the boss monsters of the deck. They, as you saw in the duels, they both win games on their own. First there's of course Ophion. It needs 2 level 4 Evilswarm monsters, and by detaching you can search out an infestation spell or trap from your deck. So you have both, you have 2 options, cards that I'm playing. First there's of course the Infestation Pandemic Infection, basically a quick play spell card that protects all your Evilswarm monsters against spell or traps until the end phase. And secondly, there's also the Infestation Infection Trap card, which is actually a really nice card. Once per turn, you can return an Evilswarm monster in your hand or on your side of the field to the deck, and then you can add an Evilswarm monster from your deck to your hand. So this card can put back your normals, put back the Heliotrope into the deck to make the rabbit live again. It also protects your monsters on the field against cards like Prison, Dark Hole. You can chain it. You can also use it during your opponent's turn. So you can chain it to cards like Prison or Dark Hole. Put that monster back into your deck to search out. Most of the time, I search out Cercyon from my deck. So all in all, definitely a really nice card. Last, there is Evilswarm Bahamut. This guy is also so amazing. By discarding an Evilswarm monster, you can steal one of your opponent's monsters. So it's basically a snatch steal, and it quickly provides monsters in your graveyard for Cercyon. There's of course, there's also Exceed Reborn, which can abuse your Exceeds even more. All in all, the deck is testing out really well. Ophion and Bahamut win games on their own. Decks like Chaos Dragons, Samurai, Heroes, Dark World, they need to special summon a lot of level 5 or higher monsters, lose to Ophion. The deck does excellent also against Kirgias, but windups are a hard matchup because they pretty much only make Exceed, so Ophion does nothing against them. I think that's pretty much it. Guys, as always, thanks a lot for watching. Happy Halloween, and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Litum signing out. Peace.